What is going on, Guild? This 1056. We be live once again with some Final Fantasy 14. Let's go back to Old Charlotte. We got some side quests to do. Can't do them on my machine, so I'm gonna switch over. And we were talking about giving a letter to someone before I got real tired. So, that's what we're working on. Might as well just do it all on Dancer. Continue at Dancer range. Nice, I'm gonna unlock all this. Unlock all those pallets. That type of deal. And we'll be able to gather everything we need to gather and craft everything we need to craft and call it a good day. Yes, were you looking for me? I suspect I spent too much time in this corner of the confluence if someone I never met knows to find me here. A letter. Don't mind me asking, can you tell me where you found this? Of course, I see. The place where you chanced upon this one is a dubious prominence. Students are confined there as punishment for recalcitrant behavior. I believe I recognize the hand in which penned this message. The student is an acquaintance of mine. Among that might be a rather generous term. Several days ago, he was confident there was a correlation in an explosion out in a compound and using it to surprise his teachers. His little student was him, half the garden of the teacher quartered in ashes. No. Not the garden. What do the gardens do? And it seems he put more effort into writing a message to his would-be couriers than to his letters recipients. Bring me food and a candle. I see. That brutish lot. I serves him right being locked up in that room. As you can tell, surmise, our relationship is somewhat strained, and I apologize for making a new party to it. What's done is done, and now I would ask a favor of you myself. Procure a candle from Toughwood at the Agora. I shall prepare the food this fool has requested. Much as I would rather not, when you are done, pray meet me at the spot where you found the letter. Okay. I haven't done all my dailies today. I've done my crafting daily, so we're getting up there in levels. I mean, Leatherworker's still so far behind. Leatherworker's the last one that I gotta get up into the 80s. Which we'll do with custom deliveries, that type of deal. A candle, you say? Why, of course. Here, take this. Please inform the requesting students that they can pay at their leisure. There you are. Were you able to acquire the candle? Yes, this shall do. Once again, I must apologize for sending you to and fro. But the sooner this matter is concluded, the better off we'll both shall be. I suppose since you are from a foreign land, you are unaware of what this candle represents. There's a reason that scoundrel requested a candle of this type. Long ago, one of the students confined was in the room spent his days unraveling some of the most troublesome mathematical problems of the time. There's nothing to distract his attention. He was quite susceptible. He wrote an equation on his wall, which is the blackened ends of his spent candle. And the professor saw what he has done, while they were too impressed to be angry. Doubtless the idiot means to make his own mark, and many delinquent students have attempted since. The professor will turn a blind eye to his vandalism, to be sure, but not let rules impede discovery. He wrote, I'll deliver these to him. Prepare some good can come of his selfish request. Here, take this for your troubles. I pray there's no more. Alright. Side quest complete. Where am I in the or doing all these side quests, but yeah. Apple idea. Okay. Parliament will be our next level. How close am I to getting my so I gotta still do dailies and knock all these out. Long way to go on those. I wonder if Tails is caught up, right? Yeah. Okay. This isn't due for 2 weeks. We'll probably finish it up next week and then grab the next one. That's how it works. Booking books. The boss is poring over the books, but her mind seems to be elsewhere. I've seen you around Numion of the late. Busy venture, yes. I've been meaning to seek you out. I believe I have a task rather suited for your ability. We've recently added a set of volumes procured from the Great Google Library to our collections. No sooner did we set them in the stacks that the student handled them without taking the proper precautions. A spell was activated that apparently was meant to prevent their theft, causing all 5 of them to go scurrying. Yes, scurrying. God knows where. They're quite ordinary in their current state, and I'm afraid few of us are suited for the combat. You, however, books should be simple enemy at best. It comes to that. As I said before, 5 volumes are soaking about at present. I've prepared a solution that can calm their rage somewhat, but many require a few knocks on the spine before you can carry them to safely. Would you be so kind as to collect them for us? Thank you. Godspeed. Okay, they're just around the area. Cool. Go far and then work our way back. How we do almost every quest. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 side quests in total to do before we move on with the MSQ. Oh, it's a ground item. Okay. The book slumbers peacefully, at least appears so. Slumber peacefully, at least it appears so. There is a reset tonight. Chains of abandoned handmaiden and laced on the back covers. But yeah, there is a update tonight, which I believe is 1 a.m. So we'll be fine because I sleep before that anyway. At least it appears so. No fighting involved. Slumber peaceful, at least it appears so. Okay. Didn't have to fight a single buck. Kind of actually upset from that. You managed to collect the books. I hope they didn't have you running about for too. Ah, yes, this is all of them. Thank you, adventurers. They're quite the precious find, and one you have to be ashamed if they jumped off a cliff or somewhere else equally as precarious. Seems among them was a restriction town. I'll have a word with the student who recklessly caused this whole incident. Although he has been chastised plenty already, you can be sure. Unfortunately, this incident isn't the first of its kind. Book protected by this man of ward must only be handled with gloves woven from the self-same grass. They used to make the sleeping powder. If we don't take such measures, the books will crumble from age and the elements within a few generations. It's only the very first lesson we teach students. There's almost every year who fails to listen. I haven't even touched Picto or Viper. Really? I've unlocked them. I haven't touched them on this class. The creature from the wooden crate. The timid student is eyeing the thing in front of him with intense curiosity. By the looks of you, you are more inclined to adventuring than the average person. Apologize for the imposition. Tell me if you've come across a creature such as the one before me on your journey. Squeal! Why, there it goes. I had no idea it could move so quickly. Apologize for giving you a fright. The thing was recently delivered to the door of my professor, although the reason why yet eludes that. Perhaps one of the gleaners sent it to us, thinking it would make a suitable research subject. Never seen the likes of it. Made an awful mess of our facilities. I hope the fresh air might calm it down, but... That's a beaver, and it'll grow quite quickly. A beaver? I've never heard of such an animal. It must be a rare specimen indeed. I let it escape. Yes, you did. The word of my oversight gets out, Professor will tan my hide. I may even be forced to delay my studies by a whole year. Let's find the creature at once. I need to cover as much ground as possible. Could you aid me in finding it before this day becomes a catastrophe? Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Well then, it appears I have to run off towards Archon's design. Good luck in this. Oh, you're not going to search at all? You stated it's the best teleport for this? Squeal! Seems the creature you're looking for. When you attempt to pick it up, it squeals harshly, but it seems more than willing to fall behind you. Try and treat your company, keep it aside. You can leave the creature. Okay. No talking points. That would have been funny if there was blue circles for talking points. Oh, there you are. You found the creature. Strange. So did I. I could have sworn there was only one in the crate. Perhaps I was mistaken. Well, what harm could another do? All the more for us to study. I had nearly feared I would be a lonely student for yet another year. The outside world called for my genius. Thanks to you, it shall have it. Great. My fair mammoth. Fair Sonia is feverishly looking around while mumbling to herself. My love, my light, where have you gone? Nothing without you. Oh, I didn't see you there. So out as I did my search, I've lost track for my mammoth. You see, the asset to my research and many missing space there. One moment, I gotta go check the temperature of the house right now. It's awfully hot. Okay, it ain't, sir. Sorry about that. The needed close of the house was like 90, almost 90. Also, I don't turn on the AC very often. House starts reaching above 9, around 90. I start doing it. Must given her enormous commands, perhaps they even jitter her. She's gifted with such sensitive heart, In any case, it's been some time since she has left for her task. Please, can you assist me? Thank you. I sent her on an errand near the stand. It'd be well to bring in your search there. Her aura is unmistakable. Keep an eye out for her elegant figure and impressive demeanor. Last stand, which is Scullery Harbor. See an amendment before you, most striking. You can see why the owner is taken with it. Return it before you are unable to resist his compulsion to keep it yourself. I do custom deliveries on. Come back to me, my princess, my queen, come back to me. This is her, my enchanting mammon. It's not a single scratch upon her beautiful visage. Words cannot express how happy you made me. I commissioned this masterpiece from a cleaner who had modeled after a woman who has captured my heart from afar. With the aid of the tome written by Archmagus Quan, I constructed my own device to control it temporarily. However, it seems there are yet some kinks to be hammered out. Alas, my heart is raptured, is prone to mistakes. Details are easy to overlook when the whole world is your oyster. I must clear my head and redouble my efforts. Thank you once again for your help today. I won't soon forget your... Man. Fast fashion. The student appears to be deep in thought. You look to be the sort who out and about performing various feats of dare-doing and so forth. Why, the scent of the outdoors is practically waffling for me. Perhaps you heard of the competition being held in the city. Designers from across the region submit designs for academic uniforms, and the winner will be worn by none other than the members of the form. The chosen design becomes exalted among their peers. Even a lonely student can have their name said in hushed whispers across the stadium. I'd have such fame for myself. I believe my concept might just be the thing to help me win it. I have an image of the mind of a rustic scholar. One who enjoys the open air and wilderness as much as the musty air in the library stacks. In fact, I've already prepared the innate design, the look to fit your frame perfectly. You try it on for me, that might not seem to convey the message I have in mind. Splendid. Well then, we should find an area where you will be free to move as you please. I believe tranquility should be just the locale we require. Come along now. No. There you are. It appears to be a suitable spot, spacious, sunlight, and I'll try his robes on for size, although it's somewhat certain they'll fit perfectly. However, I'd like to see how easy it is to perform feats of heroism, swinging your weapons up and down, grinning devilishly, things like that. Show me that battle stance you adventures are most famous for. Special robes. You must stay in the robes in progress. The robes are removed, or which no longer speak with the lawful audience. Yes, you look ready for a grand adventure under the sun. I believe these robes shall be well students to both the lecture and the open fields. Now, I'd like to test the fabric breathability. Work up a bit of sweat for me, will you? A friend of mine needs the delivery done, and need better than you to do it. Please, bring this crate here to Kekomo at the confluence. A bit of a trek, but you look up to the task. You just don't want to do it yourself. Time runs out. 190 seconds. That is such a weird time. Are people not being able to do this in 190 seconds? That's 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Like, what the frick? Okay, inside. That's what I thought it was gonna be. Oh, are people going all the way around the whole Charlian to do this, guys? Remember the forum here. I mean, welcome to my humble laboratory. What do you need, sir? Oh, you gave me quite a fright. You should be more aware of the effects that such robes have on other people here. Students and professors, of course. I said these crystals most godly. That being said, pray inform the student who gave you them that they should do her own work from now, regardless of what experiments she may be conducting. Alright. I thought these robes looked familiar. They do look member formish. Yeah. Welcome back, my adventurous assistant. I take it the crystals were delivered without incident? I see. Kimiko can scarcely get through a single conversation without giving her unwanted advice. No matter. When my robes are chosen, I'll wager she'll treat me with the respect I deserve. You don't appear to be flushed, so I think the robes were light enough to allow somewhat physical taxing duties. However, I'd like you to examine them closer on any sign of wearers. Can you return them to me? I'm happy to. Thank you. My masterpiece draws one step closer. Do they now? Functionality appears that I'm on the right. Functionality, it appears I'm on the right flag. I must refine the design so that the members of the forum behold it. They can think of nothing else but to wear them for the years to come. Of course. I didn't mean to lead your coin purse empty after all this. Return to me when we first met, and I shall bring your reward. Do, 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 do. Apologies, I cannot give you more than this, but you understand that life of a student isn't one of luxury. When my name is Herald through the halls of the stadium, however, I'll be certain to share with you the windfall that will surely come my way. Till then. Okay, one more regular quest, and then we gotta do some unlocks for the fellet. We can do those on my own time at that point. And we'll continue. Evaluate education. Pass a mirror, see minds. You there, from a distance, some distance in exotic land, just? I require a fresh perspective on my next step in my research. You have a few moments to spare. Do not worry, nothing too complex will be required of you. I'm planning an introductory class that will educate younglings on the practical applications of spherical energy, and I seek opinions on the lesson plan. With any luck, I shall strike a spark which unites a lifelong love to learning and curiosity. Consider my lofty goal. Considering my lofty goal, I welcome honest feedback, even if it isn't entirely positive. Will you help? Thank you, my eager students. Together, I dare say we will build the future. Pray visit my colleagues in tranquility. A burly Roganin fellow, his imposing frame bellies a brilliant mind. Alright, back to tranquility. And yeah, we have what? 4 more to unlock for the did I unlock Carpenter, I believe? Stadium deliveries. 4 more to unlock for the stadium deliveries, and once we unlock those guys, be able to work on those on the side. Should also be able to get a nice chunk of EXP for my leatherworker tomorrow for custom deliveries and such. Or next week for custom deliveries when I also do my trading company turn in. You must be helper permisserate sent word about. Are you ready to begin your education? Firstly, observe the object next to me. No mere rock. It's an experimental apparatus designed to simulate this environment. Through it I intend to demonstrate how crystals are formed. Now, the next order of the day is to use this explosive to destroy the device. Do not be afraid. You're extremely safe. Ground moding? No ground mode. Very good, very good. Do you enjoy yourself, little one? Now you have your own very own crystals. Aether flows all around us. Invisible energy that nourishes all things. The physical object so suffice the Aether is destroyed. It releases the energy contained when surroundings. Some return to the environment, but some remain in the physical realm. Thus our crystals form. In simple terms, they are physical manifestations of Aether, frozen in time. Simple enough to understand, yes? Open my eyes, my hunger for knowledge is peaked. Truly? Why, this is encouraging to hear. Truth be told, I was afraid my explanation would be incomprehensible, those not already academically inclined. While crystals themselves are common sight, the exact principle that governs the process of the creation is still a subject of much debate among my people. After this little display, I tend to open the floor to discussion amongst the participants. Once I ask the most fundamental question of my research: why? You have given us much to consider. As for the matter of compensation, my colleagues in charge of that. Please return to him and receive it. Alright. Ah, there is my bushy-tailed student. Was the experiment to your liking? Children are never so fond of experiments. For payment, yes, of course. Besides whatever knowledge you gained today, free of charge, mind you. Take this. And of course, you are always welcome to join us after I revise my lesson. Okay. So let's go blacksmith will unlock one. We just have the facilities to do. So let me get my... Professor Rusha's new friend. Boric is in a spot of bother.
Dear me, whatever am I to do? I dread to think of how the professor would react if I returned without a... Oh, sorry, you startled me. I suppose you would happen to be a craftsman, would you? Brilliant! Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Boric, and I am under the employment of Professor at the stadium. Professor Rurusha, to be precise. She works in the field of archaeology and is deeply invested in the restoration of relics. I have been tasked with finding someone capable of helping with her most recent project. Needless to say, I've first asked our colleagues at the stadium itself for their aid. But I was told in no uncertain terms that our so-called relics was mere refuse. Frankly, between the two of us, to my untrained eye, it appeared to be little more than shabby ornaments of children's toys. The professor, meanwhile, is convinced that it's unique and great value. And far be it from me to question her, few archaeologists have had much success as she, but I digress. Would you be willing to at least meet with the professor and hear more of our work? Have a look at those relics. So you are willing to meet her then? Excellent! Thank you so much. She ought to be somewhere here in the stadium. I can imagine it will take too long to find her. Look. Like I said, we're gonna make everything on the side that I can make. Because, well, I'll show you what it is. Well, hello there. Terribly sorry, but I'm rather busy at the moment. Can it wait until later? Perhaps you wouldn't be so quick to be busy if you weren't wasting time on what surely little more than rubbish. You do realize there are limits to our funding and facilities, don't you? A facility cannot afford to waste time on projects that show little to no merit. Honestly, I think you're overreacting, Professor. I have a very good feeling about this relic. Feeling? Was not aware we had to decided to rely on feelings over common sense now. If I were you too, I'd spend my time on anything other than helping this crazy crone with her work. Sorry about that. You must be wondering what you've walked into. It seems Professor Nomino having a rather bad day. Wait a minute, you wouldn't happen to be an artisan, would you? Yes, indeed, Professor. What's more, he's kind to agree to hear more about our work, which is why I brought her. Come to think of it, I didn't even think to ask you for your name. Well, Artemis, thank you for coming all this way to talk to an excitable old lady. I am Ruru Shah, humble professor of the archaeology. Doubtlessly heard from Boric that we're attempting to restore relics of sorts. I suppose this falls upon me to explain our situation in a little more detail. But let us first make our way to the workshop. It'd be much easier to explain things there. Alright. And that unlocks them. The work that presently occupies my time is restoration of this particular pinnace-faced relic. A design called to mind the stories of Saint Dieta, which is why I've taken it, calling it the Golden Dieta in our honor. It was brought to us by one of our gleaners. When I understand, the excavation, once they found it, was an independent venture, and consider it otherwise a lackluster appearance. Those of similar mind to Professor Nomino had been quick to write it off as rubbish. However, I believe it to be a type of mammoth. I do not wish to sound imprudent, Professor, but do you think that this thing could be a mammoth? To my eyes, it looks like an ornament designed to resemble a bird or a fish. I should be saying it can take to the skies like an airship. For all we know, is that it might as well do that. Yes, I'm quite certain the Golden Tyrant is a mammoth. It doesn't look much like your standard Utalian mammoth, I grant you that, but its innards are no less complex.
We just need to get it fixed and it's bound to start moving, I know it. What's more, I've got a special feeling about this one. Something tells me it's possessed special abilities. Ah, another one of your special feelings. Wonderful. In any case, this is where I need your help, Artemis. The relic might not seem in bad state from its outer appearance. Yes. There appears to be little that can be salvaged, so it would be your duty to create replica parts that match all the broken ones housed with it. I'd be forever grateful if you should decide to help us. I'm just chomping at it to find out what secret work was in. Wonderful. I knew I could count on you the moment you arrived. You made an old woman very happy, Artemis. Oh, well, we're gonna do a lot of parts and work. Now, let's get down to business. I'd like to begin by working on its exterior. So it seems no signs of erosion. Something, probably one of its dislodged parts, have done considerable damage to it. But it won't do to work on the interior on its complex part without first ensuring the shell housing them is. That said, I've no doubt you'll need to prepare a few things before you get to work. Let me know when you feel ready to get started. Get started what I need to get started. Damn deliveries unlocked. So if I go here and go to class, go to boom. 85 and 90 of course are plus not too bad. Okay. Moving on, it's gold. Nope. Other worker? No. Sure? No. Alchemist. The next ones are crafter and got it. Perfectly awful. The boy is looking a little green around the gills. Greetings, sir. I am Debori, a student of the nutrial science from Professor Galvrick's research laboratory at, excuse me, service. If I'm not mistaken, you're an alchemist who has come to us by the way of Quid Alpad's introductions, yes? Wonderful. I would very much like to request your help with a certain, oh my. Forgive me, my stomach is not entirely at its best. Professor Glaffrey bid me try a sample of newly created edible, you see. The taste was, well, and the texture. Oh dear. Perhaps you should just experience it firsthand. One mouthful is worth 1,000 words and all that. Pray join me at Maker's Meat, and I can initiate you with wonders of our experimental food. Oh, great. Oh well, here we go. Thank you ever so much for coming. Let's set the table for you, shall we? Like bread. On first inspection, it seemed like ordinary loaf of bread. Yes, now try a slice. The dish flavor is like a rush of indescribable hatred, which gradually translates into a sense of deep and blighting despair. It's quite possible the worst thing you've ever eaten. Doesn't it taste awful? When it comes to the perfect meal, flavor is irrelevant. Professor Glalovishi, I wasn't... Why, the very concept of gourmet cuisine has led to all manners of unhealthy excess. Too much salt, too much sugar, the entire too much fatty content in the plate in the pursuit of satisfying this deception was taste. And pan loaf we are laboring so hard to procure will contain everything necessary to sustain an adult body in one efficient, easily consumed serving. As I said, the perfect meal. Professor, if I might introduce... By Sonic, all this time wasted on idle chatter. If we are ever to attain true perfection, then every spare moment must be spent upon our research. Your task was to improve the panloaf digestibility, was it not? Well, let's be getting on with it. Swift, sure, efficient. Ah. I don't know my screen. So fits better? Okay. Must excuse the Professor Brusque's manner. I know he seems eccentric, but the field of nutrition science was practically built upon the foundation of that man's research. Surely you've heard of the infamous Archon loaf. It was Professor Galavish who proposed the recipe. In any case, I do apologize for serving you such foul-tasting creation, but I need you to understand the gravity of the situation. Come to last stand, I shall offer you something to clean out while I more fully explain the issue. You get down the base nutrients. Get down to a great serving, and then you just throw in flavor. What's in the box? Please take a seat and she'll be with you in a moment. Okay. I hope you still have an appetite. When I'm not studying, I actually work here in the kitchens. That one there is a dish I devised myself using the knowledge I acquire about food and flavor. Enjoy. Incredible. I'm so glad you liked it. What you do is take a lobster freshly caught from the Indigo Deep, scope out the meat, and saute it with butter and olive oil. Next you steam it in white wine. You must take care not to overcook it at that point. You then need to stuff it back in the shell, sprinkle liberally with thyme, oregano, and rosemary before baking in the oven at a steady heat. Not too low, of course, and then... Oh, whatever you did, it was delicious. My apologies. As you may know, cooking is something of a passion of mine. Brings us to the present problem, and the reason I so desperately require your assistance. It all began when agents of the form contacted Professor Galavish, seeking to draw upon his wisdom and the nutritional expertise. The request was simple. They wished to invent a singular meal that could provide all-day nutrition to survive. He expressed their interest in developing a supply for emergency. Thus, only one condition proposed. It would be possible to prepare this miracle dish. Ingredients readily available in Labrios. For his part, the professor threw himself in his work, with routine and intensity. The Archon loaf is a base to derive a new type of bread. The most recent batch, to which I inflicted upon you earlier, Archon loaf was never praised for its flavor to begin with. The more nutrients you pack in the mix, the more revolting it becomes. Volunteers have been known to retch up the contents of the belly after choking down a sample. Suspecting the difficulty with digesting was to blame, Professor Grati asked that I work on making our meals easier to stomach, but the fact is, it simply tastes terrible. Can you imagine if there truly was some emergency and forced to live off panloaf? People would survive, of course, but gods would they hadn't. To make matters worse, the professor sees gourmet cooking as a wasteful abomination. If the forums adopt his recipe, there is a very real chance he might champion panloaf not only as a candidate for emergency supplies, but as a new nationwide food staple. By the large, Charlians prefer meals that are easily prepared and easily more flavorful, but less time-efficient culinary efforts. Scholars busy with research and settle for sandwiches more often than. And that brilliant attitude is exactly why I fear this horrible bread might actually be accepted to our everyday diets. As a Charlian myself, I've never much interest in fine dining. When I tried a dish at the last stand, it was an entirely new world that had opened up before me. I soon discovered that a course of nutritional science would be grant access to vast repertoire of recipes. I enrolled as a student at the Stadium Faculty of Medicine. But their approach to food prepared was purely academic. Utilitarian, I reasoned that if I was to learn anything about gourmet cooking, finding employment here would be a sunset route. In fact, I was on the brink of abandoning my form studies altogether when this request came in from the form. As a lover of fine food, nay, as a person with a functional tongue, I'm compelled to prevent this crime against cuisine from entering society in its current form. Fortunately, I have the opportunity to improve the panel of flavor under the guise of carrying out the professor's instruction. I will, however, be exceedingly difficult to enhance the taste without sacrificing any nutritional, especially considering my lack of practical experience. My theory is sound, but when it comes to technical expertise, and that, my dear alchemist, is why I need you. If you decide to help, then please, I beg you, come to me at Maker's Meat. Yep. Ah, there you are. Can I assume this means that you wish to aid me in my panel of predicament? Enlarger must be saved. Then I gladly accept your assistance. Praise the scholar for bringing us to the savior of our home, hour of need. Oh, dear me, I realize. How can I put all this and not ask your name? Hey, you know, that's normally what you ask first when you meet somebody. Well then, Artemis, I look forward to working with you. Yeah, there's maintenance at night. Uh, 11 p.m. P. 1 a.m. for me. Which is fine, I'll be logged out before then. Alright, let's go start my next unlock for this. Then we'll unlock the Fisher, and we'll be good to go. Cultured procedure. Inagashi is worried for her professor. Excuse me, kind sir. Pardon my forwardness, but I might beg a moment of your time. I would work under Professor Tonkin in search of a capable miner to assist with your profession, is it not? In which case, I wish to discuss potential employment with the facility of anthropology. Assuming that is, you have the interest in our work. Magnificent. Searchers meet when we currently find ourselves in the place where gleaners connect with the facility for the students of the stadium. It allows us to acquire the necessary materials for our students, and so also provides us with a place to store supplies and specimens. With your help, I believe I'll be able to procure what I need for the professor's research. Of course, such work is predicted on the assumption Professor Tonic has decided to focus on his next project, but sadly he has not. Say he seemed a decisive sort. Oh, that's certainly one way of putting it. He doesn't hurry on submitting a research proposal in the stadium soon. Be able to secure funding for his work. Why is he very tenure could be cut short? It'd be great loss for the stadium if he was a remarkable scholar, the very definition of calm and collected, until he discovers something. Then his eyes widen and his cheeks take a rosy hue. Honestly, it's restless being a young boy. Returning to the topic at hand, your first task will be to procure Professor Tonic himself. I imagine you find him somewhere in Nomenon, if you're kind. I can ask my... Wonderful. And when you find him, pray offer him the slice of Archon loaf, like as not he forgot to eat. Sheer size of the library can prove difficult at times, but I spend enough time as a professor knowing that he's in there somewhere. I can't go to the lower floors anyway, so... Alright. Go search for the professor. Curious if any game came out. Well, there's one game I'm looking forward to coming out, which will put my Final Fantasy on hold for a little while, but it'll be fun to play. I gotta check Steam, see if it came out. The indie is an independent developer, so. There you are. But what time it all? I succumb to a sweet song of slumber yet again. She always strikes when I least suspect it. Oh. Still not out yet. Neither of them are. Someone's got a release though, date, so. I don't suppose you would happen to have a morsel of food to spare on your person. You seem to have built up quite an appetite while dead to the world. Yashi sent you, and of course you would insist that I eat Archon. At any rate, you have my thanks. I hope you do not think me rude for indulging right away. I ought to silence my stomach for a while. Truly, I'm indebted to you, sir. Dozing in the midst of research is all too common and routinely ignored occurrence around here. There is no telling how long I would have slept if it had not come when you did. Oh, well that's good. Sleep is a good thing. In fact, it calls to mind a tale of research seeking a means to traverse the Icerial Sea. You wish to do so while still among the living, you see. But they found him dead in the midst of a pile of books. That's neither here nor there. I take it you came to seeking employment. Your timing's quite fortuitous, as I but recently decided upon a topic for my thesis. Pray, accompany me to searchers once more. Explain all of it. Game's not out yet. Dum, dum, dum. There you are, my savior from slumber. Professor, please, if you've rude to waste any more of his time, may we discuss the focus on our next research project? What does you require of him? Yes, of course. Time is of the essence. Honestly, Hinigishi, I do not know what I would do without you. Well, it's most flattering, Professor. Thank you. I mean it, Hinigishi. I would be lost, completely and utterly lost. Professor Tonkin. Yes, and quite famished besides. So absorbed when I had all forgotten need of rest and substance. Now for your kind gift, I would surely be expired by now. Thought you meant, I mean, yes, of course, I'm always happy to help. Provided our research is deemed valuable to the stadium, we are supplied with clothing, food, and shelter, but only the bare essentials. You needn't but look around to know the versity of my words. We are to be instructed, researching, and gathering resources, what value do these things truly have in the grand scheme? A study of 1,000 civilization, nothing has changed. Culture of Charlian remains as stagnant as their bright attire we wear day in, day out. Must confess, we do have a point about our garments. Should my shirt and trouser be soiled, I would have no recourse but to wear them inside out. But to be perfectly honest, I have no real qualms about the way we live here in the Charlian. That is all well and good, Hinigashi, but would you content to let your children live in such a conditions, your children's children? Children, Professor, whatever would you bring up such a subject I have sought and broached for some time? After all, you'll be my sole company for the foreseeable future, and I'm yours, correct? Yes, I suppose you're right. I'm perfectly content as we are, of course, if you'd rather come. You guys get a room. It's been wonderful, but I should get going. Deny us the pleasure of your company. I have long wished for the help of a third party who stay with aid of reason. Third party, splendid. I'm resolved to change our current way of life, however, in order to do so successfully, I must first determine what cultures are best suited to blend in with ours.
As such, my research shall involve recreating the lifestyle of other cultures within this very building. That's what caused you your furrow brow of late. Well, it's a marvelous idea, Professor. Which is where the experience of a miner comes into play. I would have you gather material necessary for said recreation. Though we do have a great deal of resources at hand at present, they are yet inadequate for my plans. Ugh. Now, if you'll excuse me, I require time to consider which culture I shall attempt to emulate first. Whoever's seen such an inspirational sight? It's a relief to see Professor Tonic has the last chosen his subject for his research. I myself had been long interested in myriad people and their customs. In fact, this is precisely why I was so keen to work with the Gleaners, well versed as they are in the lore of the distant lands. My parents too had a love for learning in other cultures. It was their fondness for the Far East and its beautiful flowers that gave them inspiration for my name. Despite knowing the origins of my name, I never gave it much thought. That is until one day when Professor commented on it in one of his enthralling lectures. However, he did not stop there. Professor Tonic continued by musing on how even a single flower can go by many names. Different regions will know it differently, after all. He then went on to talk about how the difference in location, language, and lifestyle can have a profound impact on how we think. We all have our roots far east, so we only know the Charlian way of life, he said. I have long wondered what change might occur within my own mind should I someday visit my ancestral home. It is the very question which drives my research. Yes, even now I remember his words oh so clearly. That lecture inspired me to take up the current post. Yet, though I have done my utmost to assist him, our failings to present any findings has left me with naught to show for my own achievement. Oh, how long I have conducted research with him in the Far East. Just the two of us. Why don't you tell him about all this? What are you implying with that tone? No, perhaps it is time I'm honest for once. Yeah, I'm rather fond of Professor Tonic. Yeah, I got that. To be honest, it's more than a little disconcerting that he's has not noticed my feelings when you have. However, given that the current research is squarely focused on creating a better life for us, I feel this is an opportunity I cannot pass up. But there's no experience in the matter of the heart. Like a fool, my youth was spent with the nose buried in a book. Would you perchance be more experienced in the matter of romance? Be forever grateful to help in winning Professor's affection. What is love? I can help you. Truly, you will help me? Oh, thank you so much. Well, you two certainly seem to be getting along. Oh, Professor, have you come to a decision? I have. If you are doubtlessly aware, Charlian is frightfully cold all year round. However, this is rapid progress in our ability to control our environment. Nothing proves this fact more than Labrios, so if it pleases warm down there that you would be forgiven to think you were somewhere altogether more tropical. This has inspired me to look into the lifestyle of those who actually reside in the balmy climes. We may yet happen upon the discovery of two of the would never be more simply shivering in the cold. In line with this, the culture we shall seek to emulate first is none other than Rasahan. Splendid! Well, we'll need you to go and collect a few things that can be obtained in Rasahan proper. Hanegeshi will brief you in more detail. Finally. Take the facility. Okay. Have that there. Now we just need the Fisher unlocked. Need a one moment.
Alright, let's go, Fisher. Fear is the thesis. Lakutai could use a helping hand with his research. Could it be? Yes, you must be a gleaner. The gleaner I've heard so much about. Let me get straight to the point. I'm a gleaner, dude. Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Lakutai. Hi, I'm associate professor at the facility of archaeology here. To tell you the truth, I'm a bit of a bind. I'm scheduled to make a major presentation at the conference in the near future, but I'm ashamed to admit it. I've not been able to get enough data to properly finish my thesis. If I'm able to prove the worst of my research, then funding is all but certainly to dry up. As you can see, the stakes are high. You have the look of an adept angler about you, am I right? If so, you could be just the person I need. This section here is one I retain out of my work. It might interest you taking a look. Impressive, isn't it? I bet you never laid eyes on such a fine fish tank before. Sadly, you can see it's entirely devoid of fish. Anyhow, I suppose I should tell you about my work. You see, I research water veins, not just any old ones, mind you, but those that carry acer, not unlike the life stream or acer currents in the wind. Life is naturally drawn to the areas abundant in acer, which is why you might observe the popular fish spots are often acer rich. Okay, whatever. My research carries especially high concentration of acer. Current common known as spectrum currents are perchance familiar with the phenomenon. Did one before. Oh, I expect nothing less than a veteran gleaner, I must say. It's always nice to meet someone familiar with the subject of my life work. In the event, the most important point is to remember just how important acer currents are for aquatic life. Well, like in other ways, it's possible to identify how strong the local acer currents are by studying the fish and the aquatic life in any given area. And that is where you come full circle. I require specimens of fish from various bodies of water to confirm my hypothesis regarding underwater acer current. And there's the rub. The area most worth researching open has to be the hardest to reach, of course. I'm not averse to risking the journey myself, as only we're not to my condition. Ah yes, I suppose I should explain. Put it simply, I've long suffered from a particular nasty case of aceric sickness. I can't even use the acer net or any sort of teleportation magic. Quite annoying when your work potentially depends on such things, at least. I know, the acerologist who can't stomach acer. I wouldn't believe it if I were not living this nightmare myself. But perhaps you are skeptical. I have an idea. Follow me to the Acer Plaza and I'll show you just how bad I got it. Alright. Boom.
Ah, there you are. Alright, watch closely now. You see, I'm feeling so queasy, all I can do is hold down my contents of my stomach. The whole world is spinning. Someone make it stop. What is this? Forgive me. Well, there you have it. My condition manifested all over the ground for you. I say, Laka, are you quite alright? Professor Nella, I see your condition as bad as ever. One would think you'll avoid a place like this. And you, are you perchance insisting Laka was his research? The boy may suffer terrible from race sickness, but as a scholar he has much potential as anyone I've seen. I developed an eye for those things when you've been a constant academia for so long I have. But I must be on my way. Very much look forward to reading your finished thesis, Laka. Did I mention I don't handle pressure particularly well? I've barely written the introduction to my paper. The Professor now is already selling it up to his peers. How can I possibly live up to the expectations? Incidentally, Professor Nell is one of the leading authorities in the world of astrology. Some would even say he's as equal to Master Matoya, and for some reason he seems to have taken a liking to me. He's the one who pushed for the school to allow me to form my own research team in the first and trial phase of the program to support young scholars. Otherwise, a humble associate professor such as myself would never be able to conduct such an ambitious project. And yet, I run the risk of losing everything if I don't turn my potential into actual results in the upcoming conference. Not only would my own research team be suspended, but there's a high likelihood that Professor Nell's program would be terminated, meaning that no other young scholars would be able to receive the opportunity I did. The very future of stadium is at stake. Part of me wishes I could just drink my worries away. Sadly, I handle alcohol about as well as I handle Acer. May not be good at dealing with Acer or pressure, but one thing is certain, for Professor Nell's sake, I must not fail. I cannot. And so I beg you, please help me. There's no one else I can turn to. I'll leave it to me. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're a shining beacon of hope in all young scholars here in Charlian. Now, let's head back to the searchers. Meet so we can go and ask. I shall meet you back at the office. Oh, and that will be all that. We can continue the MSQ now. Artemis, I was just compiling my list of fish that I've been needing research. Let me know when you're ready to go fishing. I'll find you in on exactly what I asked of you. Okay. Oh. Let's go back to Dancer. And let's continue the MSQ. Alright, let's continue on with the MSQ. A capital idea. Kryl is still digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. You've given me so much mull over. I feel as though I was one step closer to understanding the form's true motive. The mystery of life itself, for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. And feeling his friendship and support will be good boon to us in days to come. On that note, let's head back to the annex. Perhaps on the way we could better acquaint yourself with Quill Adapo, as the scholar suggests, while I share our findings with Raha. Already done that. I have a lot of gathering, a lot of questing to go about. Alright, okay. Oh, welcome back. From what I heard, your trip to the stadium proved most educational. While you were away, I received word of the fellow Scions. As I expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of the Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales to in our possession to Limsa Mensa. So the time has come for us to go on the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan. Let us see what awaits us at Hildebrand. Let's stand and get scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Phew, I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Vreestra and the alchemists Great Walk put their hearts and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as an official representation, were found consulting foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and the other allies.
With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. Our tide about to turn, I can feel it. To limbs of the Mensa. Yep, to Limsa we go. I also have the level 80 dancer quest. We'll get the dancer. We'll do the 80s question enough. I was told to respect you, as you may not be aware the admirals at present entering the LCC in the Sultana. 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do I need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you in? They have to use that line because people forget how. My apologies for calling you away from Charlene at such short notice. On the contrary, we honor and grateful any pleasant surprise to join by the esteemed company. It is only right that we discuss to be conducted in person. We were locked away in a war of attrition. Our forces struggled to contain the threats posed by the tower. It's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we will have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. Rest assuring to leave you all at once, all in accord. But might I ask what your plans entail? It hinges entirely on porting skills and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. Considering your time in Charlene, the Allies nation have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, the surge of an abduction of kobolds, Shahagin and Ixil and Antana have given rise to increased numbers of primal as well. But your triumphant in Razahan has given us cause for hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves from the menace. And it is you, the Scion of the Seventh Sun, who has shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telophary at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike the enemy's heart, Garlemald. The brave new few will be Israel contingent. I think such progress have been made in such short span. The objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered, robbed of their free will. They serve as the Telophary's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from suffering, not to strategic or political gain, but because it's the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I only ask that choosing to remember what we all do not also forsake our compassion, morality, for without that we have no recollection, only death without end. Aye, and that we all can all agree. Our second objective is Colossal Tower that Sankard and Rajay observed in the capital. Though our purpose remains uncertain, there is reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what yet to come. Until the tower assault was toppled, we failed to make any headway, so the same could be said about the Telophary. There's certainly no rush to press further into our land. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be sustained by Yashola, an analyst of the tower, influence of aetherial currents. Based on her observation inside the Tower of Thought, the Spires siphon aether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The Asas aether remains unaccounted for. We can be sure it's not being harnessed for our benefit.
wouldn't be surprised me at the least if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's a logic to that, regardless, once we have uncovered the truth. We'll bring their scheme crashing down along with the Infernal Tower. That's all well and good. But what would you have us do? I assume it's more handling over the scales than being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Isbard contingent. Consider an official request from both the Grand Company of Orzia and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For honor and glory. Couldn't have put it better myself. Bishola, Sankrat, and Naranje have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. The way they were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, the prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingents will embark on its journey to Isbard. Raban and Lord Amric are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourself known upon arrival. Pack warm clothing on furs and the likes. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Tlafri so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. There's only one who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge of Eorzea will be to left it, or better, upon your return. Alright. So to our meeting quarters we go. Away! The Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and procuring the key to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Amric be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our roles in this to organize in various delegations in the coherence unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective. We dare not neglect our duties for too long. At least our defensive have fallen in disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Isbard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid onto the Garleans have made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Sadly no, though I do my best, truth be told. I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I have battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Amric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Isbard, I and the other commanders will do whatever we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again? We meet again. Much has occurred since our parted ways in Wilrit. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information you have shared with Maxima. For the sake of our people in Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. But you're not coming with us. Strange, I thought you have mistaken it. I do. The Tlafri has laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. Though every mote of me being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Isbard contingents, I would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe my innocence may instead celebrate the return of the former legatus and attempt to rise me in the position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, it will only hinder your efforts. I understand. Lord's in your hand. I will defend it with my dying breath. After a sacrifice my son's daughter made, I can do no less. The government of Wilred intend to offer refuge to the fleeing Garlemals. Should the time come, we will be ready. In light of Gaia's rather unique circumstances, and I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I must have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald and yours, but it's now been nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends and... We might even bump into the old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Look at a PvP. By the way, if I go to my PvP, I think... I got a series. I want to get this all done and get to rank 30 before I collect any of the rewards. We're already ranked 7. I mean, it's easy to get ranked up. We're already ranked 43. We're almost to 50. And that's good to see. Bam. Like if I go PvP profile achievements. PvP. Achieving rank with the different brand companies. Gotta do that. I wonder if I can still do that. Those are all mounts. One for being 1,000. Gotta win 1,000. 2,000. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You gotta win 5,000 matches. A crystalline conflict. That's insane. I haven't even participated in 100 yet. Okay. I need 5 more wins to get a line in the sand too. And I need to get 1,000 wins front line. I'm not even at 500. Okay. And we're working on that one. Yeah, we're almost getting our field commander boot. Okay. We're working towards stuff. Okay. Best of the best. Maximum will have you meet your new traveling companions. The other members of Isbard contingent are gathered in the Royal Palace. So inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready.
The remaining members of Science, your friends are most of the Isbard contingent, and what you would like me to see you through.
We're gonna go on a ship, going on a trip.
By the 12.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose.
Yes, it is.
We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia!
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention. Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must. I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation, here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort. Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well, those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards, by the way.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughingstock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya? The Avatar of Destruction? With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabad contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
Lord Emanolain!
Ah, yes. Emanolain de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light. Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought.
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Gaius bloody Baelsar himself is working to help rebuild Werlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Besides the diligent assembled here, the Amalja served other tribes, offering to send troops of them. Unfortunately, due to the physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climates of it. They would also likely provide tempting targets to abducting philosophers. All the things considered is better aid to cause by bolstering our defense of the Arzia. Through their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warning scales to our comrades. Honors. Yes. Those, these are the famed warning scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. I myself am especially grateful for the opportunity to visit distant lands, always to follow in the footsteps of Master Atoy, and learn all there is to learn of the star we call home. And indeed, that is the primary reason I volunteered to join the expedition. The journey outside the 12 Woods, much less enter the Imperial territory. Rare privilege afforded a Paljal. Not that I'm tagging along to see the sights. The god would benefit from my healing magics, and I would our comrades should fight back. I hear you got something for us. These scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? I reckon it'll be worth a gill or two when all this is over. We'll hold on to them for now. And one more thing, I know what you'll be thinking. Why didn't they send it in Zahard instead? Bugger if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hillifer told me was they needed someone to help safeguard the future, and here I am. Can't say they hadn't got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land. The middle of a sun and snow of all places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever needs doing. Let's set sail, or however the saying goes on an airship. That is a set of boarding scales I spy. No, that I wouldn't know what they look like. Oh, look at these. Even a layman like me can tell that they're bustling safe. All the better to fend off the tempering waves. Is that the right term? Anyway, they'll give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? And nervous or not, I'll march through all 7 hells to give me a chance to put us back in the grave reap. Warning scales for Ishgard delegation, I take it. Many thanks, these talisman may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard. Only in the throw in my lot was those secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And now I lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. That is doubtlessly why I was chosen by Lord Aramric. He would have me point an extensive knowledge of the former ties to good use. I'll not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I'll lead us to victory. Be here if would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Oh, the talismans. We are to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see that no one's misplaced there. And before I forget, I have a message from you. In distant lands and times of strife, together stand, together fight, and darkness shines the light of light. I hope I have done his words justice. Someone like much of Osro has been plagued by towers, yet, while he could not be here, wish to express his shared conviction. He and Yugiri labor without rest to unite the people. With their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the steep of the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this. You have a warning scale for me too. Thank you for this. I'm going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. If I have little off in return, I would impart some advice if I may. I've been told by many to wear the cold of Isabard, and I cannot stress enough of this and not token. I will distribute specially made warming tinctures, conservative alchemist skill. Understand that there are no substance for proper protection. I'll use provision of said protection for discretion. Now, let's proceed to Alamigan Corps. While we make your final preparations, I will pilot ready for the airship. This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Uranji and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Astinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, since he's spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well. I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will borrow Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put fine on point on it, but I would be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Fuck, is that the cry of the silence in need of a tailor, I hear? But how? I have my ways, oh yes indeed. I thought you could sneak off to Isabar without telling me. Nothing escapes my notice. Now, we will wear these garments I made for you whether you like it or not. Never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, bring with us. What? No, of course not, silly. All name of fashion, rather the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others for my creation if I never wore them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Eramod and Blue Winda have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. We're staying at the Rising Stone for a while, so keep an eye on events throughout Orisia. Since they've been running things back at the headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Charlian? Oh, why not? Keep Cryle company in the Balducian Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. And I heard Erema and Bildewinda did a fine job carrying out in our stead while we were laying comatose. With some in charge of the Rising Stone, we've nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, while I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because someone who shall remain nameless and transport your souls to another world, if anything similar to disastrous were to happen, it's well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I got a few things to take care of, then I'll make my way to Charlian. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. Not much, but it'll be the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Not keep the contingents waiting any longer. Here's your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. Nice. A frosty reception. Taru's depressingly trying to retain her composure as she prepares to step off on another perilous journey. I'm told the airship palace has been sent to meet you. And there he is. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? Honored to finally meet you. He and the Garland Island Works will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains in the Garlemald. For many of us, it'll be something of a homecoming. Our illustrated founder was only one, our most notable imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources at your disposal, and there's aught we might be able to do via further assistance. Please do not hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, I'm ready to engineer. Okay. About 30 minutes. What sucks is today's gonna be a short stream because I've got to make food. Gotta be up early tomorrow, but we'll be able to stream tomorrow in between work and then.
Ilsabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
We'll be back. See what next week looks like. This week's rough, so.
on the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius. The winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they are led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald, the very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Meanwhile, in the Imperials.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Ishtola always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right. Once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's Magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
All right. Assuming there's nothing else you wish to confirm, we may commence the mission as soon as we're ready.
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count.
Wait for it. Oh. Just need to take this guy out next. Going up here. And moving. Oh, so far so good. Just to be safe. Okay.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point.
3, 2, 1. Should be able to do those battle lists, really. Hey, what kind of pattern do you... Oh, you're an Imperial. Okay.
Damn, spotted.
Damn, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I was doing so well too, I just got impatient. I had a feeling that that bomb actually affects... Oh well. Perfect. Tried doing this perfectly, but it didn't work. You good here? Oh, other way. How did you not? Okay, whatever. That worked out great, though.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but... Wait! Something's coming!
The hounds.
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead! Fighters, protect the others! A brief respite, but stay alert. Keep the carriages safe.
Being on my next fight.
What impeccable timing! Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
Bum bum ba dum bum.
We're the only ones still struggling. Time we put our backs into it then. I've been itching for a good scrap.
And there we go.
All right back there? We're fine and ready for more. Hear that? Get to the front and turn the tide.
There we go.
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal. In time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
That's Vigilia! Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up. There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
We have them now! Forward!
Right! Let them have it!
As a raging bull!
That's her! Vigilia!
Do not fall behind!
Why it's tanky, man? Why so tanky?
or die!
Are we there yet?
Tremble before the sun!
May your screams fill the air!
Very nice.
A worthy adversary. Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death.
Sadu Hatun.
The poor son.
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan? Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
What is... Okay.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated.
If I can buy the riding map without having to do rank 2. I still plan on getting everything done shared fate-wise. And over this next week when I'm not streaming, that's what I'm going to be doing, a lot of grinding. Getting my trust system up, getting my fate system grinded. We're over halfway done with Almeg, so that's 2 areas almost done. Well, that's an area complete. One area almost done.
In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
I think we'll get the side quest done. Go and see about writing maps though.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
Yeah. If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
Okay, well, I'm gonna end the stream here. Work really quick, so I'll be back tomorrow. We'll finish up more of this. Hopefully, get to the first trial and walk.